And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
There's a lot of great games that came out in 2008, but the best, by far, well, maybe not by far, but very easily the best, I should say, is Dominion from Rio Grande Games. Take no account of this very hard-to-read font. The game is a lot of fun. It comes with piles and piles of cards. I'm going to give you a quick demonstration of how the game works. Each player gets the same thing to start the game. 7 copper coins, which are worth 1 coin each. It shows the 1 there. And 3 estate cards, which are worth 1 victory point each. You'll be taking these and you'll be shuffling these until you get a hand. You'll have a deck of 10 cards. Now, 10 cards is not a very impressive deck, but you'll be using this deck to play the game. On the table itself are many piles of cards. The most important ones are the money of copper, silver, gold, worth 1, 2, and 3 coins respectively. And you have estates, duchies, and provinces, worth 1, 3, and 6 points respectively. Then you have 10 other decks of cards, which you can see around here in the front and around the back. And you'll have, these are different action cards that you can buy during the course of the game. Everyone starts the game by drawing 5 cards. So in this instance, I've drawn 4 copper and 1 victory point card. While this victory point card is tremendously useful at the end of the game, because whoever has the most victory points wins, during the game itself it's worth nothing. So in my hand, this is a waste of time. But I have $4 that I can spend on buying something. So I look at my $4. What am I going to spend it on? Much of these cost $4 or less. I could always take a copper. I could take a silver. That costs $3. I can't take a gold because that costs $6. Some of these action cards, for example, the Smithy, only costs $4, so I could buy that. So, for example, I'd buy the Smithy, $4, and what a great deal that is. Here's the interesting thing about the game. I'm allowed to buy one thing each turn. No matter how much money I spent, and no matter what victory points I spent, every card that was in my hand is discarded, whether I used it or not. The card I buy is also discarded, and it forms my discard pile. I then draw 5 new cards for the next turn, and I will continue through this process. If I need to draw more cards and there's nothing there, I'll take my discard pile. As the game progresses, you get your full turn. The full turn is this. You are allowed to play 1 action card, and then you are allowed to buy 1 thing, discarding the rest of the cards in your hand. The action cards do a variety of things. For example, the Smithy allows you to draw 3 more cards. Some actions give you more actions. Some actions let you trade in 1 card for another card. Others let you buy more than 1 thing per turn. There's a lot of different cards, and that's where the fun of the game comes in customizing your deck. Now, I've probably played Dominion probably 50 times this year. It keeps coming out, and I want to tell you some reasons why. First of all, it's very easily understood by many ages. I can play it with my 8-year-old daughter, and I can play her just as hard as I would play another gamer, and we're on equal level, and she easily can understand many of the strategies in the game. But that doesn't mean there's not a lot of different things you can do. Now, when it comes to basic strategies, it seems like, even though there's lots of different cards, it seems like there's 4 or 5 different major strategies that you can use to win the game, but it's how you do those and which cards to buy and when. The biggest cards to buy, of course, are the 6-point victory cards. These are very useful, but if you start buying these 6- and 3-point victory cards right away, which is likely impossible because you don't have enough money in early turns, but if you buy these too early, they'll clog up your deck, and if you draw a hand of all point cards in the middle of the game, that might make you feel good because you have lots of point cards, but it's in reality going to help you not at all during the game. Now, the game ends when any 3 of these piles that are in front of me here are discarded, and that includes a victory point pile, that includes one of the action piles, that includes one of the money piles, although I've never seen a money pile run out, or when the 6-point cards are depleted. Now, usually this ends the game, but it's very easy for the game to end otherwise, and so you have to watch and see which 3 decks are discarded. I said that there's 10 different decks that start the game, and you can play with those, but the box comes with 25 different decks, and so you can use any combination of those, and you play with 10 different ones each time. That gives it a lot of replayability, and with 2 more expansions, each with 25 decks coming out this year, infinite replayability. Are there any disadvantages to this game? Well, for some reason, Rio Grande decided to make black borders. Crazy! because they're going to get worn out. And the cards will get worn out because you're constantly shuffling and shuffling and shuffling and shuffling this game. Now, I don't mind that at all. It's a lot of fun. I don't mind shuffling, but you're going to be doing a lot of that. One thing that's nice about Dominion is that you can have it as interactive or as non-interactive as you want. For example, I have a card here called Militia, and whenever you play this card, it gives you $2 extra to spend that turn, but it also forces everyone else to discard down to 3 cards. Now, if this card is possible, they might have this card, the Moat, which will block it, but perhaps not, and that's going to hurt them. There's other cards like a Thief and a Witch, and these cards are cards that are negatively affecting other players. But if you don't like that, you don't have to play with them. Those are only some of the 25 decks that come with the game. If you want to just play your own game and see what you can do, that works also. And so you can tone up or tone down the amount of in-your-face nastiness. There's several decks that have interactive, and I played with all of them in one game, and it's just an evil, evil game. But it was still a lot of fun. It just felt completely different. So who would I recommend this game for? In short, I recommend this pretty much to everybody. There are some people, though, who are especially, I think, going to like it. People who like collectible card games are going to really enjoy this, I think, because some of these cards give you more actions, these action cards, and you can set up some really neat combos. Play a card, play a card, play a card, do this, do this. Look what I just pulled off this turn. And there's also that aspect of building your own deck, but you're building it while you're playing. But also it's fun because once you know what you're doing, games will easily take 30 minutes, and you can play a whole bunch of them in a row, and none of them will feel different at all. And you can play with a wide range of people. My only thing I don't like about the game right now is that it only goes up to 4 players. I wouldn't mind if it included 5 or 6, just because it's so simple and so easy to play. But it's still a lot of fun regardless of that. It's basically just a big box of cards. But there's a ton of cards, and it's an amazing, simple game. If you haven't tried this out, if you haven't played it yet, you should. Best game of 2008, easily.
Thanks for joining us today. For more written, audio, and video reviews, as well as the #1 board game podcast, check out the website at www.thedicetower.com. Until then, this is Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower.